Welcome, high school basketball fans, to the season in review episode of the Lady Rams Hoops Weekly Show. I'm your host, Joe Gilloway, with the Linglestown Gazette Sports. Tonight we're at St. Thomas Roasters, just off the square in Linglestown, and we're going to touch on some significant milestones and achievements that Coach Randy Gambelunghe's team had this year. This is Coach G, and he's our special guest for our last episode. We had the players on all year, and we sort of let Coach G alone to do his thing and to coach. And so now the season's over, so we got him on the hot seat, and we're really looking forward to it. First, we'd like to thank our sponsors. All season long, we had 5 sponsors, and even though this isn't a huge production, of course, we really can't do it without these sponsors. So Econ Wealth Management was our title sponsor, our main sponsor. Fabio's Italian Restaurant and Brick Oven Pizza, Linglestown Firehouse Bar, Fit 39, and Next Level Basketball Performance Academy. And they can all be accessed online, of course. Econ Wealth is a financial services and planning agency. Fabio's is a local restaurant here just off the Grantville exit. Linglestown Firehouse Bar is a private club. You could see it when you stand out front here of the coffee shop. Fit 39 is just a mile or so down the road. Personal fitness center. And Next Level Basketball Performance Academy is run by Scott and Gabby Singer. They were both former Central Dauphin Rams basketball players, and now they help the players in the community, boys and girls players, get to the next level in their game.
Coach Felker's watching.
Oh, Coach Felker's watching. Hey, Coach Felker.
Hey, Coach Bob.
Hey, Coach Bob.
Hi. We miss you.
He says you're looking good.
They miss you, Coach Bob. Coach Felker couldn't make it tonight. He's a little under the weather. Anyway, I just want to introduce, first of all, you to the 2017-2018 Central Dauphin Lady Rams team. I'm just going to mention them all by name here. Jamie Brand, Cam Kerlock, Rita Gambino. You can hoot, you can clap if you want. Rita Gambino, Sam Gress, Maddie LaFrance, Delaney Lackner, Haley Lackner, Grace Long, Nadia Romanchuk, Faith St. Clair, Gabby Starsnick, Izzy Vogel, Carol Weber, and Audrey Weigel. And many of them are here tonight. Some of them had some other sports to play. I guess 2 of them play lacrosse, right? So anyway, yay for the team. We had a lot of fun this year. I'm going to go over just a few of the achievements and milestones that the ladies were able to accomplish this year. They had an overall record of 18-8, and that includes their out-of-state games, which were some tough matchups down at the Diamond State Classic in Wilmington, Delaware. PIAA games, they were 17-6 overall. You can stop me if I have anything wrong here, because sometimes I do. 9-5 in the tough Commonwealth division, and one thing that's notable there is they beat at least every team in the division at least once. Nobody swept them this year. 8-1 versus PIAA teams out of the Mid-Penn Commonwealth, and these were tough teams that they scheduled. And 8-1 is, and the only loss was, I guess, the last game of the season to William Allen. And so to go through all those games and finish 8-1 is very notable. 4-1 in the postseason, 9-4 against teams who qualified for the postseason. So you played very well against the good teams. And here's a good one, 9-0 at home. They did not lose a game at Central Dauphin High School. I think I'll skip over that. But from the second East game on January 23rd, which was a long ways back, they gave up an average of 31 points a game. That was the last 12 games of the season. They gave up only 31 points a game. So that's less than 8 points a quarter. They beat 2 defending big school state champions this year, which was Boyertown and Ursuline Academy. Ursuline Academy was the big school state champion in Delaware, and Boyertown, of course, in Pennsylvania. And that's to be noted. I mean, people don't realize that. That's why I was trying to say Coach G scheduled tough, went to a tough tournament, and so these girls are seasoned after that season. Just a couple individual achievements here. Sam Gress, first team All-Commonwealth. Jamie Brand and Grace Long, second team All-Commonwealth. And Sam Gress and Jamie Brand were first team All-District 3 tournament. Did you say, were we? Yeah. Yeah, you were.
Thank you.
By the way, you knew that. Anyway, and I'll only share this because they shared it publicly. The team set some goals this year, and they weren't easy goals. And the goals were to beat Harrisburg because it had been since January 28th of 2015 was the last time that the Rams beat Harrisburg, and they beat Harrisburg this year at home and really took them down to the wire at Harrisburg. So they played Harrisburg very well. Returned to Giant Center. They returned to Giant Center. Win District 3 again. They won District 3 again. And to advance further in states than last year, and they achieved that too. They won a game in states this year. So I just wanted to go over, before we bring Coach G in, some of our better moments just covering the team. We had a lot of fun covering the team, and essentially what Linglestown Gazette Sports did was we did pregame, halftime, and postgame reports on many of the games. Sometimes I don't think I could get my equipment to work up at Mifflin County, and that was a rough night anyway. But I probably wouldn't have
there long enough.
I wouldn't have been able to provide a postgame report. Yeah, so, I wasn't going to mention it, but we did. We did cover most of the games, even the away games. I went down to Wilmington and did a Lady Rams Hoops Weekly remote show down there. And the Lady Rams Hoops Weekly show we typically did on a Wednesday right after practice, and the players took turns coming in as guests. And they started out, most of them were very nervous, and they wanted me to give them the question. Carol, you were very nervous. Don't look at me like that. You were very nervous. And a lot of them wanted me to give them the questions that I was going to ask, and I refused. I made them gut it out, and then the next time they'd get in front of the camera, they'd get a little better, and then a little better. And by the end of the year, it was just second fiddle for them. And so I saw a lot of growth throughout the season there. Some of my better moments were, I guess I'll mention Haley. I missed that one, but Bill sat in for me, and I gave Bill the questions. And the one question I wanted Bill to ask Haley is, what's it like to have an older sister to look up to maybe learn a little bit from? And Haley's answer was, she learns from me. And I sat there and I was watching it. I was like, that's not the answer I was expecting. But that's how Haley is. She's competitive, and she's not backing down to anyone. The interview with the brief interview with Faith that brought Coach Bob into the scene. Coach Bob promised me before the season he would never get in front of the camera, and I promised him I wouldn't bug him about it. I never did. He was so excited for that win and for the game that Faith played. And once he saw her get in front of the camera, he jumped in. And that's the only reason he did it, because he was excited for Faith.
Hey, Joe, now he's our columnist.
Now he's our columnist. He's on the payroll. We don't pay him, but he's part of our. He's on the roll.
He is. He's got a press pass.
Another moment was Gabby Starsnick on senior night, and just a fabulous post-game interview. She's going off to the Navy, and she had her color guard, right? Yeah. There that night, and sort of representing her, and she had a good game. She started that night, and she contributed to the win, and it just everything. The stars were in line, and it just lined up, man. And I asked Coach G, who do you want? And I wanted Gabby too, but I used to leave it up to Coach G, and he grabbed Gabby. And I drove down Allentown Boulevard with tears in my eyes, literally tears in my eyes that night. I was so touched. I was so touched because Gabby was so touched. We got the opportunity to see what her teammates meant to her team, the program, the school, going off to the Navy. I mean, she just let it go, and you knew what this was all about after seeing Gabby.
Hey, Joe, is it Jean Ford Dress? Be there soon. Miss you guys.
All right, Gene, we're waiting for you. Another notable thing, and we saw a couple times, Grace Long does like a little pixie dance sometimes. Yes. She gets so excited.
It's a spin cycle.
It's a spin cycle. Okay, we never really named it, but I think she did it twice.
She did it spin right in the interview.
It was a full spin.
In the interview, yeah.
And that's because she was having so much fun. It was a win, and we liked it. We liked it. So, Jamie, after the District 3 championship, they were turning the lights off on us. And Jamie, by the way, we had like a real news outlet trying to interview Coach G. You were talking over top of that. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Bill tells me all the time, we're a real news outlet.
Just making fun that we got it.
Yeah. The guy from C2021 should have moved a little bit further away, right? We were set up already. The seniors, when we did all the seniors, it was sort of like a senior tribute. I could feel how close you all were. I mean, just being there in the middle of them all and listening, like Nadia, some of the stuff that she said, that she'll never have this again, no matter how great her college experience is, that she doesn't think that could ever duplicate the camaraderie that these girls have with one another. And I mean, I stood there in the middle of that and was just touched. I could feel it, you know. And then the last thing was, or maybe one of the first things, was when we brought Carol in as our special guest. She was nervous. She wanted to, yes, you were nervous. She wanted to know the questions, and I wouldn't give her the questions, and she said, come on, please. I said, no, I'm not giving you the questions. So she's the nervous one, and I'm standing there in front of the camera, and I can't even introduce myself. And like 3 or 4 times, I couldn't even say who I was or where I was. And I look over at Carol, because I'm upset, because Carol has to wait longer. She goes, come on, Joe, you got this. And I tried it again. The next time it came right out. So the person that was supposed to be struggling with it helped the guy that does it every week. And then she did a phenomenal interview. I think you were there watching that. Coach G sort of hung real close by for most of them. And I know you were just as impressed as we were about how they all pulled it off. And another thing, we were able to bring back some former Lady Rams this year. Tori Lesko, who's now off to. Tori's going to be an upcoming redshirt sophomore at Iona. Alexis Hartwick and Alexis Smith. Alexis has just finished her sophomore season at Pitt Johnstown. Alexis Smith finished her freshman season at Kutztown. They all sat in once or twice with us. They came back to watch their ex-teammates play, and were nice enough to be guest analysts. So anyway, I'm going to bring Coach G's here. I don't have to bring him in, but I'm going to introduce Coach G. It's Randy Gambelunghe. It took Bill till midway through the season to get that right. So, but we call him Coach G. Most people call him Coach G. And before we get started, I just want to thank you for the access you gave us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, certainly. We loved it. And we had already done the football team, but the mechanics of doing basketball, when you have 14 girls rather than 50 boys, and there's no helmets, it was all different. It was going to be different, and I knew it, and I sort of tried to reassure you that, you know, there's an element of privacy involved. You don't want to get too far into the team, and it all worked out. You know, I didn't know how it would or that it would, but I think it all worked out, and the girls really had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, I thought it was a great experience for the girls to be able to be in front of the camera and get that experience, and for the community to get to know them a little bit.
Right. Yep. So I think the first thing we're going to do, we have another special guest with us tonight, Mr. Weston Gaiman. Weston is as big of a Lady Rams basketball fan as you'll find. I've never said this, but I'm the team's announcer, and whenever I would be sitting in my seat at the scorer's table, Weston would be over my shoulder every single time. That was his spot. He never missed a home game, at least, and he's here tonight. He's part of our Linglestown Gazette sports crew, and he wants to ask Coach G a couple questions here. So,
all right, go Weston. Look, you got this cord. No. Good. Can we bend a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah, first of all, I just wanted to ask you what some of your top goals are to achieve next season.
Weston asked what the goals are for next season. We're a younger team next year. Our top 8 players were 6 seniors and 2 juniors, so we have not a lot of experience returning, but we feel like we have a lot of talent, a lot of young talent, and I think a lot of offensive talent. So I'm really excited to get them in the gym and try to mesh as a team like this team did.
And my other question was, I know the last season just ended, but looking forward to the next one. Who do you think your toughest opponent will be next year?
Toughest opponent next year? Well, in the district, it's probably going to be Dallastown. And in the Commonwealth Division, it's either going to be, I'm thinking State College or Altoona, who's now in our league, are going to be 2 of the top teams in our league. All right?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Weston.
Thank you.
I think they want you over there now. That's Weston Gaiman. Thank you very much.
Good job, Weston.
Thanks.
All right. Then I just had a couple questions here, and then we're going to bring the team in to ask some questions. How's it feel to have the 8 seniors gone? I mean, I know you've been asked that over and over, but we talked about having all those seniors at our preseason interview, and now we're done, and they're moving on.
Yeah, well, I came to CD when they were sophomores, and 3 years with them, getting to know them as people first and players. They're just a phenomenal group of kids who are unselfish to the end, that believed in each other, worked together, got along with each other, loved being around each other. You can't beat that as for a coach to have kids like that.
Right. Yep.
I love you.
Okay. Okay, so as far as the off season goes, I try to explain to people how active you are and your team is in the off season. When do you start again? When do you pick up and I know there's team camp and then there's what's the over at Cedar Cliff?
Cedar Cliff Summer League,
Yeah,
Varsity Summer League.
Let the viewers know what you guys are going to do. You're going to exhale here for a very short time, and then you're going to go back at it, right?
Well, this time of year, a lot of the kids are picking up AAU, going with their individual teams, and gives them a lot of experience with other kids and other coaches and other competition. We start up open gyms probably at the end of April. We'll start Varsity Summer League in May. That'll be every couple games a week, at least a game a week. We're going to go to team camp. We're probably going to do a shootout at a college. We go 4 days to Messiah College, and that's really valuable for team bonding and getting to click as a team. So when we finish with team camp, we feel comfortable going into next season in the fall. That's basically we do a kids camp. A lot of the girls work the kids camp, so we get more camaraderie, more teamwork together, and they just enjoy each other more. So just building team, building camaraderie is important.
Yeah, Coach G's very committed to the full package of coaching. He watches lots of film, and I mean, you don't let up. You're relentless, and I know that it's a second full-time job for you. And Coach G's a great family man too. A lot of times with coaches, you think, well, how do they have time? And you make time for your family, and I know that too. So, did they leave the program a better program than when they came in?
Well, first of all, we're going to get to look at a little banner that we got every day. So, yeah, that banner will prove that they left it better than when we left 2 district titles.
Right.
But, yeah, they left it. When you tell the girls how valuable they are for the younger kids coming in, the younger girls got to see what teamwork is. They got to see what heart is. They got to see what defensive intensity is, and I think that's only going to make our younger kids better, and hopefully that tradition just keeps going from year to year.
Yep. Okay, and then before we turn it over to keeping it light, I wanted to mention one thing. I know that Carol was especially upset when the season ended, and I saw that you posted, "What now?" What do we do now? It was going to be the last time you guys went into the gym together and practiced together, and it probably felt like the season just came to a screeching halt. All of a sudden it's over, and you knew that you'd never have the same kind of relationship. You you'll be surprised. You ladies will still be friends 5 years from now, 10 years from now. You guys will still get together, a lot of you. But I figured, Carol, there was the one thing that I read years ago, and I thought when I saw the way that you reacted to that it was so appropriate. How lucky you are to have had something that makes saying goodbye so hard. And I just had that in my head, and I thought it's just so appropriate for that situation that, as sad as it is, you guys are all fortunate to have had the opportunity that it is this sad, you know? If it didn't matter so much, it wouldn't matter, you know? So, now it's time for keeping it light. All right. We got to get light after that. You know, it's a little, that was heavy.
That was awesome.
He's going to turn his cup. We get our sponsor right there.
Okay. Once again, we're at St. Thomas Roasters. I'm having the hazelnut tonight. So what keeping it light is whenever we do the Lady Rams Hoops Weekly show, we finish off the show with like 2 or 3 questions that have nothing to do with Lady Rams basketball, have nothing to do with like last week's big win or the upcoming game. It could be your favorite place to vacation, or you know, just stuff like that. Faith, did I just take your question? I'm sorry. So
You're going to have them come up?
we have, the players are going to come up one at a time. We're going on a 3-second delay here because we don't know what's getting ready to happen.
Make it 10.
10-second delay. All right, we're going to start with Sam Gress, junior guard Sam Gress.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you, because I know you played college baseball.
Yep.
So I wanted to know why you decided to coach basketball instead of baseball.
You know, I always thought I'd be a baseball coach since I played baseball in high school and in college. But I was at the playground every day as a kid, and I loved basketball as a true love. But at 5'7", you know, I wasn't quite lighting up the gym. So I just started teaching in the Harrisburg School District and started working with the youth, the 5th and 6th grade elementary league teams, and fell in love with coaching and didn't want to stop. And 20-something years later, here I am.
That's a great question.
I also wanted... I'm not done. I also wanted to ask him, why did you coach girls basketball instead of boys?
Why did Coach G choose to coach girls basketball over boys?
Well, my first opportunity was with Greg Goldthorpe, the current athletic director at Central Dauphin East High School, and he invited me to be on his staff. We taught together, and I fell in love with coaching girls, mainly because I did coach boys a little bit with Bruce Leib at Central Dauphin East also. Yeah, definitely. And but I feel like the girls are just so much more fun to coach because it's a technical game with the girls. I think there's so much more cohesion. I love the team aspect of the girls, and I feel like there's a lot less selfishness. And I love coaching the girls' game.
And in a lot of ways, they're tougher, too.
Yeah.
I really think so. Great question, Sam. Well, you have another one? Or?
No, I'm good.
Okay, no, that was awesome.
Thanks, Sam.
Pull that chair in closer.
You were nice.
Okay.
That's good.
All right. I think up next is Nadia Romanchuk. She's a senior power forward who actually had a lot of assists this year, so we shouldn't call you a power forward. Led the team in assists. Taking charges, yeah.
Yeah. So, anywho, my question is, what is your favorite animal and why?
That's a good one.
I'm not a big animal person. I hate to say this. This is going to get me like people are gonna, no, it's not heartless. I like people. But if I had to choose an animal, I'd go with the cat.
All right. Cat.
No, I asked why. What kind of cat?
One with 4 legs and I just because I had one as a kid and I really enjoyed having a cat.
Coach G likes cats.
All
All right.
Lovers, I know.
You guys want honest answers, right? The guy gave you an honest answer. Next, we have senior guard Faith St. Clair.
Okay, what is your favorite or funniest childhood memory?
Oh my gosh, childhood memory? Oh, wow. You know, it's a long time ago, Faith.
We didn't say this was going to be easy, Coach.
It's a hard question. My favorite or funniest? My favorite, I'll go with my favorite. I remember my dad was taking me to school one day, and he drove right by the school and took us to the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York, and then we went to Saratoga Racetrack afterwards. So it was just great not going to school and going to on a surprise trip to the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Great question, great answer. Who's next?
Thank you, Faith. Being gentle.
Next up is junior guard Delaney Lackner.
Just give me 1 second. I forgot my question.
She forgot her question.
Stuff down.
You had 2 weeks.
Oh, I remember. Okay. What is your funniest ISS memory?
Let's explain what
Oh, my
ISS is.
Okay.
Explain what ISS is.
In school suspension.
And he's a ISS teacher, right?
Yes, I
Okay.
teach pre-algebra and the in-school suspension at Central Dauphin High School. And I'd say my favorite was I had a student who was, no names, who was very upset with the fact that they were checking for parking stickers. So he wanted to talk to the principal. So I told him I'd email the principal, but I wasn't going to go out of my way to call the principal. So he was a little bit upset throughout the whole period, pacing around, needing to sit, and I was instead of
Showing why he was already in there, right?
yeah, showing why I was already in there. And so instead of getting angry, I hooked my speaker up to my computer, and I put the sound of a truck backing up. And it went beep, beep, beep. And he jumped out of his seat to the window to see if his car was getting towed.
Nice. That's awesome.
I was not expecting that at all.
No, I don't know. That was my favorite.
Thanks, Delaney.
Thanks, Delaney.
Who's next?
Jamie.
Now we have
Jamie.
senior forward Jamie Brand. We have the tape delay ready, right, Bill? All right. Jamie.
Be
nice.
Look, they got all their cameras out. Right? Good. They are.
I have a couple questions. I'll do them 1 second. So the first question, which is the PG,
Bob, help.
which is the PG one.
Oh, no.
Why did you move to Harrisburg?
Okay, that's a good question. I was. I graduated from community college with an early childhood education degree, and I was looking to get into elementary education. I wanted to explore different colleges, and my pastor actually mentioned to me that Messiah College was a good education program. He said another one of his youth had went to Messiah and had a great experience there. So on a whim, I kind of just came down here to Messiah and stayed.
That's a great school.
Yeah.
Awesome school. Got another one?
Yes, sir.
Keep it PG.
How do I phrase this PG?
Remember, this is Bill and I's reputation on the line.
Yeah.
Got their cameras out. This is, can you get that to like a half hour?
What is your favorite drink at home that is over 21 age limit?
Adult drink?
Yeah, an adult drink. Thank
Okay.
you.
A nice,
Favorite?
It doesn't have to be at home either. But
Favorite adult beverage?
Fine. A nice glass of dry red wine with dinner.
Nice.
I will let you know how that tastes in 3 years. Okay?
All right. Woo! We survived.
Yes, we did.
Well done, Jamie. Who's next? Next up, she did not do the pirouette this time.
No spin.
Grace Long, senior guard Grace Long.
It's not a spinning chair. That's good.
Okay. My question is, if you could travel to any country, what would it be?
I would, it's funny. Facebook has led to me finding out some of my relatives in Italy, from Perugia, and I would love to go to Italy to visit relatives. My uncle actually has, through Facebook connection, gone to Italy, so I would love to do that one day.
And that's a place where the name Gambelunghe would be normal, right?
Yes, it's like Smith.
Right, exactly. Okay, well done. Good question.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Carol C. Weber.
Carol, show the folks at home.
No. Carol's another senior forward.
Oh, was that a question?
That's what you're here for.
Oh, okay. Okay, my question for you is, what do you like to do on your free time?
Yeah, I watch film. That's during the season. I don't have any free time, but I would say I love in the summertime watching baseball on TV. I love the Yankees, and spending time with family. Nothing extravagant.
Pretty simple, right?
Yeah,
Good. Thanks, Carol.
Did you ever have any exposure to Sandlot baseball?
I played.
Come on up, Gabby.
Yeah, I played some Sandlot baseball. Yeah.
Next up, senior guard Gabby Starsnick.
All right, so since I'm not going to have a summer vacation,
Yes.
I want to know where you're going to go.
I'm going to Messiah team camp. No, for vacation, we always go after team camp. We go to New York to visit family, since I don't get to see my family. All my family is in Albany, New York. So we spend time up there. I go to the Saratoga racetrack. I spend time. I have friends up there who live up there, and we just have a good time with family.
Good. Sounds like fun.
Nothing's crazy.
Thanks, Gabby. Now we got the young girls.
Maddie just had AAU practice.
Freshman guard Maddie LaFrance. Fresh from AAU practice.
Yes. What are 2 pet peeves you have?
Two pet peeves. Slurping. Slurping. Jamie.
Is Jamie a whole pet peeve by herself?
Yeah.
Slurping and Jamie
Brand. There you go. Yeah. Oh, 2. The other pet peeve. Let's see. I don't know. I can't think of anything. I have them, but it's just so. Yeah, that's a good one. Refs that don't hear you call timeout. That's a good one.
A pet peeve is the game official that do not hear you calling a timeout when you've almost tackled the guy in the middle of the court. That's a pet peeve of mine too.
There we go. Thank you for that.
Well done. And now freshman guard forward. What are we calling Izzy?
A little bit of everything.
She's a little bit of everything. Izzy Vogel.
If you were doing karaoke, what song would you pick?
Good one.
Oh my gosh.
If Coach G was doing karaoke, what song would he sing?
I would probably go silly with Ice Ice Baby. Vanilla Ice.
Do you guys have any wine back there? Maybe we could hook this up. So maybe someday we'll see that. But probably not, right? Is that it?
Yes.
Well done. Anybody else? Any parents? Okay, ladies.
You don't want to get on there?
Great job, ladies. That was fun. You had great questions.
Wait, I have one question.
Okay.
Do you want me to come up there?
You can come up.
Uh-oh, this could be the singer.
This is not the rated R question, right?
No.
Okay,
Sorry.
good.
I already asked that.
Yeah.
We will turn the mic off.
I don't think anybody asked this, but what was your favorite memory for this year?
Very
Oh my
good.
gosh. There were so many great memories. Oh my goodness. That's a really hard question, because you go to the basketball side of things, and it's definitely the back-to-back district.
Right.
It's just seeing you guys. I love seeing you guys happy, and just to see you guys celebrating that. But, a memory that's always going to stick with me is the locker room after our final game against William Allen, and just seeing how sad the girls were. And it wasn't just the loss, but it was how much they cared about each other and cared about being together, and seeing the team just I don't know, it was one of the harder moments is to leave that locker room, but it was also such a great memory because we knew how much we loved each other.
What about your funniest?
Funniest moment.
Funniest moments. And who's your favorite player?
We're not going to allow that one.
Oh my gosh.
The lady said her.
Yeah. The funniest. Oh my gosh. The funniest moment. I don't know. I love watching film with the girls and just watching people, like when somebody trips or does something funny, we rewind it and we watch over and over again.
Or gets ejected from a game, maybe?
Oh yeah, we did. That was great. By the way, referring to Joe, did get removed from our Mifflin County game from the officials.
Thanks. I really haven't told anybody that except you guys.
So we rewound his head walking out a couple times on film. That was a good moment.
But based on your dialogue, your commentary, you didn't deserve it.
I don't think I did. I still don't. No, I didn't. No,
He
but
didn't deserve it.
no.
I think we all appreciated Joe and his desire to cheer for our team.
I asked a good question. I asked the official if it was his first game ever. And he looked at me and he said, no, my second game ever. I said, I can tell. And he said, you're out. That was the whole thing, you know. So
No,
we all went down that night together.
Yeah, my most embarrassing moment was definitely I was shooting. I had hurt my arm, so I'm a lefty. I couldn't shoot. So I shot it right-handed, and some reason fell on my ankle, and I tripped and fell in front of everybody, and the ball came down and hit me.
Nice.
On the miss.
You like the strings?
So that wasn't your funniest moment. That was their funniest moment, right?
One of their funniest moments. Yeah.
Okay, well, I think it's time we wrap it up. That was keeping it light, and I just wanted to say one more time to all the players, thank you. It's been a great year on the court with Linglestown Gazette Sports. You guys were fabulous. And the only thing I'm going to ask you, all the seniors, is that certainly you need to come back and support the juniors and sophomore and freshmen. And we're going to bring you back in front of the camera and put a microphone in front of you again and use you as our guest analyst. Yeah. So
just no more interviews with the coach.
Just no more. Yeah, exactly. So to the viewers, the people that followed us this year, and I have heard out in the community that there were people that did follow us and that couldn't make it to the games or just didn't make it, and they knew who won and what the scores were and what players were doing well. Thank you so much for your support, and we'll run it back next year. So, Coach G, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
It's been a blast. Thanks, players. Thanks, everybody.